आनन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं वन्दे तं सच्चिदानन्दं यतिवर्यं महामतिं वेदवेदान्तसारग्नं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहं श्रीगुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहं सद्गुरुं सच्चिदानन्दं साधुवर्यं सनातनं सद्वेदान्तप्रवक्तारं सदा स्वान्ते स्मराम्यहं गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुविष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओं नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्यासम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो नमो महभ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। ओं शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. With the grace of God, we were looking at the Sakshi, that is the witnessing principle of life. So where we were looking at page number 49, where Guruji has discussed regarding the misconceptions regarding this Sakshi, where they say that there are Jiva Sakshi and Ishvara Sakshi, just like Ghatakasha and Mahakasha, which is not as per the universal acceptance, and it is against the Shruti and Acharya also. So that we need to see now. In second stanza, 49, page number 49, according to Shankara's teachings, we have to cognize the nature of the witness as it is. As it is, we have to cognize. It is not as per your own individual thought. If you go as per your own individual thought, so you will not become successful just even to understand the Shruti statement. So that's why we have to cognize the witness as it is, as told by Shruti, as told by Acharya. While explaining the Purna Anubhava in chapter 1, it is said that the whole phenomena of the universe, including all multiplicity of the souls and the world, with the concept of infinite time, space, and causation, etc., is upadhi for Pratyagatma. It is clearly told. So that's why if you fail to understand the first concept, second concept you can't understand. See, at that time itself it is been told. That is explained the three planes: corporeal plane, divine plane, and the material plane, adhyatmika, adhidaivika, adhibhotika prapancha, along with the deshakala karyakarana bhava, time, space, and causation. So that all will be all that include all these multiple souls. If you tell that there is a multiple soul, there is the preferred Sakshi. So but there it is all included, multiple souls and the world concept of time, space, and everything will be a upadhi, that's the adjunct, that is the object for the Pratyagatma itself, not even the Atma, not even the Sakshi witness, that Pratyagatma, that me notion itself, that will be an object. The Bhashyavakya has been referred earlier, which is said in Mandukya Upanishad Mantra 3 Bhashya, thus where Acharya says that Sarvasya Prakasya Sadi Daivikasya Anena Atmana Chatushpat Tvasya Vivakshitattvat Evam cha Sati Sarva Prapanchopashame Advaita Siddhihi. Here Acharya says that the witnessing principle of life is the substratum of the universe, the whole universe. It is a substratum of the whole universe. What is a substratum? So it is the essence, it is the reality. Just like the substratum of the snake, the substratum of the appearance of the snake, which if at all if appearance as a garland, if at all if appearance as whatever might be the thing. So what is the essence of it? What is the substratum of it? That is the witnessing principle of the whole universe. If you tell whole universe, where is the question of different kind of witnesses? That's why, and hence it is not an individual one. For example, when we realize that the witness is beyond the ego, then it is evident that it is transcendental reality of this multiplicity. It is a transcendental reality. It is a paramarthika satya. It is not a vyavaharika satya. It is a paramarthika satya. Vyavaharika satya is the one which we are seeing in the empirical view. That we are accepting after the adhyasa, we are accepting these things and all are that this is just useful for only transactional activity. Transcendentally, it is helpful. That's all. But if we realize that the question itself will not be there of this multiplicity, because the multiplicity of the universe appears only when there is the appearance of the ego. But they only when there is an ego, that is the me notion comes, all the multiplicity will appear. Nanu bare nanato bantu brahmagna. In Kannada, Guruji has written a Tripadi poem where he has told, when the concept of me comes, the concept of me notion comes, so then everything will come, all the multiplicity will come. Before you wake up, there is no multiplicity at all. You will not have identification of yourself. When you don't have identification of yourself, you will not be having the identification of the world also, which is an objects for you. Object field, there will be multiplicity, whereas the subject field, there will not be multiplicity. When you wake up, you will first identify that yourself, you are there. So once you identify that you are there, then the related to that me notion, what are all the things which is related, connected to the me notion, what are all those connections? Your mind, body, intellect, everything. And then related to that body, you will see the all the world. So, in this process of discrimination, we have to take macrocosm with microcosm. That is samashti and vishti, whole macrocosm, entire universe macrocosm with the microcosm. This is samashti, adhyatmika samashti. If this view is missed, then our thinking process will lead us to the doctrine of Kapil Sankhya, who has accepted the multiplicity of the cells. That will become a Kapila Sankhya Siddhanta. So, where they accept that there are multiple individuals, it is a Dvaita Vada. It is not aligned to Shruti Vada. It is not aligned to Shruti Vada. That's why it is Avaidika. So since they accept partially, we grouped under Nastikavada, Astikavada. Okay, that is different. But they are all against the Shruti itself. This thing has also been explained by Shankara in the Bhashya portion quoted above. So it is wrong to assume that there are many witnesses. Holding the view, forget about the witness, that me notion itself, it is not plural, it is singular. So I can say plurality in this world. For me, whatever I can say, multiple things are there over here. Multiple people are there over here. When I say about me, will not say me's, and I'm single. If this itself is one, then where is the question of multiple witnesses? Okay, holding the view that there are many witnesses in it is an illogical statement. The many entities to whom this multiplicity has appeared, that subject is the only entity fit to be called witness, and those which have appeared to the witness becomes the witnessed because they are objects. Even if the multiple witnesses are there, the multiple witnesses will become witness for only one witness only. The Vedanta is a subjective science and not an objective one. To accept the many entities, inevitably, we have to accept the existence of the time space factors. These factors, so when you say multiple entities, multiple jiva, multiple sakshi, you have to accept the concept of time and space also because it is related. These factors are only in the realm of the ego. When ego comes, then only these things are will come. When we say that witnessing principle of life is beyond ego and it is the witness of the ego, then naturally it is beyond the concept of time space, causation, etc. It is being so. How can there be a many witnesses? For this reason, the doctrine of one and same witnessing Atman as the individual self of all being has been proclaimed in the Shruti. Which Shruti? Shvetashvatara. For Shvetashvatara, Acharya has not written Bhashya separately because only he has written Bhashya for the 10 Upanishad. But this kind of Upanishad like Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Jabala Upanishad and other Upanishad he has quoted in Bhashya Vakya, Bhashyas, where in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6:11 it says Eko Devaha Sarva Bhuteshu Gudaha सर्वान् सर्वव्यापी सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा कर्माध्यक्षः सर्वभूतादिवासः साक्षी चेतो केवलो निर्गुणश्च, which means eko deva, there is only one and the same shining one, that is deva. He is hidden in all the humans. Sarva Bhuteshu Guda. He is there in all the living beings, in all the well, it is chara chara vastu, everything, movable, immovable, everywhere. So he itself is there, but in a hidden form. That means avyakta murti. Bhagavan will say, no, maya maya tatapidam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina. In the avyakta form, he is pervading all over the things. He is all being, the omnipresent, sarvavyapi, omnipresent. He is not like his presence is more in the human and it will be less in the mosquito, not like that. He equally distributed. For him, he don't have any differentiation. He'll be there irrespective of the kind of the upadhi. He's there, omnipresent, the innermost self. Because when you investigate inside, then only he will be, you can realize it. You will know his presence. So if you can't know his presence, at least you have to feel that. If you feel that, that will become upasana. That is also very much helpful. Innermost self of the all the being, the the overlord of all acts, karmadhyaksha, for all the acts. He is the Ishvara. From him only all the activities are happening. Ishvara sarvabhutanam hridyesherjana tishtate. Brahmayan sarvabhutani yantararudani mayaya. Bhagavan says. And yatas yata um, yata pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tadam swakarmana tvamabhyarcha siddhim vinnati manavaha. All the bhuta activities are yena sarvamidam tadam, are running through me only, which is all pervading. Sarvai, that's why all the activities, if it is happening from him, then why Ahankara is there in you? So that's why surrender to the card. While telling the Karma Yoga, has Bhagavan has mentioned, all acts are happening by him only, presiding over all beings. The witnessing consciousness, one and without attributes. He doesn't have any attribute. Attributes are created by us. Upadhis are created by us. He is one. Kevalo Nirgunascha. He is only conscious, pure consciousness. And Nirguna. That's why he doesn't have any gunas. All the gunas are due to the attributions. We have explained this thing while explaining the Sarvatrika Anubhava itself, the universal acceptance of the Vedantic teaching. Here, the belief that there are many witnesses, one for each individual, is a wrong notion and contrary to the Shruti and the reasons which are based on the intuitional experiences and to the Bhashya. It is always against the Bhashya, against the Shruti. If it is against Bhashya, obviously it would be against the Shruti itself, because Acharya will not write anything apart from Bhashya. It will be always in line with the Shruti. Okay, the multiplicity appears either in waking or in the dream. The multiplicity appears either in waking or in the dream. We can't say the appearance of the multiplicity in any other states other than this waking and dream. And in deep sleep, there is no multiplicity at all. It is in a Sarvatrika Anubhava. There is no multiplicity at all. He will say nothing. Nothing was there. Nothingness is compared to the waking. So you are saying that whatever is there over here, it was not there. But the thing is, you will accept the fact that I was there. So you can't deny the fact that I was there in the deep sleep state. I was there. When you say I was there, what does it mean? It doesn't mean that nothing was there. If that is the case, that will become a Shunyavada. You were there. You were there. Okay? There is no without the multiplicity. Advaita Anubhava, pure Advaita Anubhava, we have already experienced. This presence and absence of multiplicity. Okay? We can see the presence of the multiplicity in waking and dream state, absence of the multiplicity in the deep sleep state is known or objectified through one's own being, which is the witnessing principle of life. So you are saying that there is no multiplicity, there is multiplicity. From which is the power which gave this information? That is the witnessing principle. With the power, with the consciousness, with that consciousness itself. Because when you say consciousness, immediately the concept of mind will come. There is no question of mind in the deep sleep state at all. Neither the mind of waking or the dream was there in the deep sleep state. But still, where this message came, that is through the witnessing principle. It is being so. How is it possible to say that the primarily is many? Not at all possible. Like this, holding the view that there is Ishvara Sakshi is also equally observed. Okay, we refuted Jiva Sakshi. Likewise, Ishvara Sakshi is also observed. In the Mandukya Mantra 6, the self who remains in deep sleep and in whom both the states merge and emerge from him. Okay, see, this emerger and emerger from him is from the standpoint of waking. If you look from the standpoint of the deep sleep state, there is no question of merger at all. So because teaching is happening in the waking state, that's why we have to tell that there is a merger in the deep sleep state. Okay, and emerge when merging is happening, because after waking stay, after waking, you will continue with the previous day only. That's why you have to say, we will say that that is also superimposition, adhyarapa drushti itself. So we will say that again there will be a emerge from him, that the self is described as Ishvara, Esha Sarveshwaraha, Esha Sarveshwaraha, Esha Sarvagnaha, Sarvantaryami. That and all will come in the Mandukya 6 month. Esha Sarveshwara, Esha Sarvagna, Prabhavapyo Hi Bhutanam. Those things and all will come. And so also in Brihadaranyaka 4:422, the same Atman who is the witnessing principle of life, he is described as एष भूतादिपातिः एष भूतपालः एष भूतादिपतिः sorry एष भूतादिपतिः he is the king of all the bhutas and Yesha Bhuta Palaha, he will take care of all the jivas. ಕನಕದಾಸ has told ತಲ್ಲಣಿಸಿದ್ರು ಕಂಡೆ ತಾಳು ಮನವೇ ಎಲ್ಲರನ್ನು ರಕ್ಷಿಸುವ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಶಯವಿಲ್ಲ. So when he creates any creatures, he will also create food for them. After creating food, it only he will create the creature. He will help in all respect. Due to your papa or punya karma, the births may be multiple different, but he will take care of in all the births. That's why he told Pitamahasya Jagataha, Mata Dhata Pitamaha. So that's why see, that's why you have to first feel the presence of the God. If you are leading life, that is because of his blessing. Because of his karuna only, we are there over here. So that's why it is Yesha Bhutadipatihi, Yesha Bhuta Palaha, etc. By this, we can easily understand that the self itself is called, it is Ishvara. That is not other than the self. That itself is an Ishvara. The term Ishvara came in contrast with the world. He is the Palaka of the world. He is the ordainer of the world. From that standpoint, the name for the Brahman is defined as an Ishvara. When you say Ishvara, it is defined like that. But if you without the world, he will be there. He will be there with his own, in the sense, without attaching to any upadhi, he will be there, just like in a deep sleep state. There, the same Ishvara will be an witnessing principle. That is the self of all. Okay. Shankara identifies this witness with Ishvara. He writes thus. I will tell the translation of it. In this sentence, Acharya has described that the Supreme Self who presides over all activities and resides in all being and who is witness of all is the Supreme Lord. Avidyavastayam, in the Avidyavasta only we can see all this is. So these all the things, okay, the teachings will happen in this dual nature. That's why he says that this self is presides over all activities and resides in all being, and who is the witness of all the Supreme Lord, all in the Supreme Lord. So the witness himself is that itself is a Ishvara. And here all the description of the Shvetashvatara mantra which is told before is taken. By this, Acharya emphatically says that the witnessing principle itself is Ishvara. He has mentioned that witnessing principle is Ishvara, and it is not other than that. But still, other Vyakhyanakaras, commentators, has told differently, which means that the Sakshi and Ishvara are synonym terms. That's all. From the standpoint of reason, also saying that there is Sakshi for Ishvara is incongruous. This is through the standpoint of the Shruti and Acharya. Even if you take the standpoint of reasoning, that is the Anubhava, reasoning. So that's why Acharya will always, while writing the Pasha, he will take Pramana from Shruti as well as Anubhava. In both the lines he will explain. So we also have to understand in similar lines only. Avishvara, But then if there, because if there is a Sakshi for Ishvara, then the Ishvara comes into the category of the witnessed, that he himself will be in the multiplicity. It will come in the witnessed, not witnessing principle. That which is the Sakshi alone is fit to be called Ishvara and not the witnessed one. Because witnessed one also are merely objects to the witness. If that objects, that can't be a multiple Ishvara Sakshi. Acharya has explained this in Mandukya Mantra 6, where he says the significance of the sentence is that the true nature of the self of everyone is himself Ishvara, but the Ishvara is not other than the self. As the logicians hold the view, logician is Tarkikas, they will hold the view according to the logician, Ishvara is separate from the individual self. That itself is an obstacle. If you use your intellect, usage of the intellect should be in line with the Shastra and the Sarvatrika Anubhava. If it is go away from that, then that your intellect will be an obstacle. Then from that only, these all the things will come into picture. You will define Shastra as per your own interpretation, which will not lead to moksha, but it will lead to bandha only. When we look from the standpoint of comprehensive vision of life, there can be only two parts, which is that one is the self, and which is one being, and everything else will come into the category of non-self. That's all, self and non-self, and this includes the ego sense and me notion, ego sense or me notion. Okay, that will include that when we say Atma and Anatma. Atma, Anatma, Viveka, that is required. The not self is of an adventitious and ephemeral nature, and hence it is false appearance due to the ignorance. Due to the adhyasa, there is nothing called anatma. We can't show, when you say atma, anatma, viveka, we can't separate anatma and atma. So that's why when it is stated that you have to do the Atma Anatma Viveka, it is not like separating the Atma and Anatma. That Anatma, it is an appearance due to the false appearance, due to the ignorance. Due to the ignorance, it is appear falsely on the real nature of the self, on the Anatma. And the self is the only reality. Reality is that alone. The projection of the reality due to the ignorance, that reality itself will be projected to multiplicity, just like the arc lamp in the cinema will be projected to different kind of activities, just like here, due to the ignorance all multiplicity will happen. If we hold the view that the Ishvara is different from this self, then he comes into the category of not self. Then there is will be a no Ishvara for him. Ultimately, that's all. He fails to understand the Shruti and he fails to achieve the goal of life. Hence, the witnessing principle of life itself is called Ishvara from the standpoint of appearance. That's why the term Ishvara, when the term Ishvara comes, it will be from the standpoint of the appearance. What is appearance? This empirical world. Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hridesharjuna Tisha. Sarvabhutanam. When you say Sarva, you are speaking from the standpoint of the world. From the standpoint of the world, the same Brahma, same Ishvara, the same self is the ordainer of the world. due to the ordainity for the same Atman, it is called Ishvara. That's all. He is not apart from self. From that standpoint, relative to the world, he is called Ishvara. That's all. But that doesn't mean that he is different from self or Atma. For this reason, Acharya calls the self as Tat, Tat Pada in Bhashya 4.1, Sutra Bhashya 4.1.2, where he says, this object called Brahman, which is denoted by the word Tat, okay, Tat Tvam Asi, that first term, Tat, denotes the Brahman, Burhat Brahman, all pervading Brahman, okay, that word Tat, which is free from all mundane attributes, that will not be having any kind of attributes. It is not attached to any kind of attributes, any kind of upadhi, and which is my nature consciousness. That is our own consciousness. That Brahman itself, your own consciousness. So you are thinking that I am confined from hair to your toe. That is because of your avidya, ignorance. But you are that tat. That is your own conscious nature of consciousness is well intuited. If you intuit, that will become asi, tattvam, your own consciousness, intuited, known to the people who are adamants in Upanishads. That means what? Who understands through the Guru the statements of the Upanishads and who does the sadhanas accordingly, they only can able to cognize this and take a standpoint in that real consciousness. In this description, that which is of the nature of consciousness, whose nature is called Anubhava, Anubhava, the experience, the term experience, the term pure experience, that means the Sakshi Anubhava only. Okay. Upadesha, in the Upadesha 12.8 it is called the Tatpada, meaning Ishvara. In actually this Tattvamasi will come in Chandogya Upanishad 6th chapter. In Upadesha Sahasri Padyabhaga, because that is a poet form, because Upadesha Sahasri has got poet Upadesha Sahasri and prose form also. In Padyabhaga, the poet Upadesha Sahasri, he has taken this Tattvamasi Prakarana, where he has told this Tatpada as Ishvara itself. Hence, the witnessing principle itself is Ishvara from the standpoint of the appearance and the disappearance of the vision, both the things. From a standpoint of appearance and disappearance, Vyakta and Avyakta, he is called the Ishvara because for Vyakta and Avyakta to ordain to be there, the Srishti, Sthiti, Vinasha, he should be the ordainer. It is called Ishvara of the universe, which is conjured by avidya. Obviously, it is conjured by avidya. Without the avidya, there is no question of vyakta at all. When there is no question of vyakta, avyakta question also will not be there. The seed form, which is there is no, and there is if there is no seed form, there will not be a uh, effect. When there is no effect, there will not be a cause also. Both are not there. That doesn't mean it is shunya. He alone will be there. Hence, it is wrong to hold the view that there is Ishvara Sakshi, which contradicts the Shruti, reason, and Bhashya. Shruti, reason, Bhashya. You shouldn't contract with the Shruti at all. And Acharya, you if you contradict against Bhashya, but you shouldn't claim that I am explaining Shankaracharya's Vakya. If you contradict Bhashya and say that it is my own thought, just like Ramanuja and Madhvacharya, that is fine. Fine in the sense what? They are not telling that I am explaining the statements of Shankaracharya. But when you say that I am explaining the statements of Shankaracharya, and if you are contradicting Acharya, then it is not correct. When you are contradicting Acharya, that you will be contradicting Shruti also. And you don't deny the facts of the experience. When your own experience says that it is false, you can't argue. It will stop you from arguments. The nature of the witnessing principle is non-dual one, meaning ever devoid of all types of that existence in dualistic world. It is devoid of everything. It is not having a minute particle which you are earning in this world. Papa or punya. It is beyond all papa punya. That will not be attached to that. That will come only after you identify that you are this. That is the error. When there is that error, this whole phenomena will exist. This whole samsara will be there. Never ending samsara till you realize the kaivalya means what? Atma gnana only happens through this gnana only. Gnana, gnana mevatu kaivalyam. It will not happen by any other means. If you misunderstand rope as a snake, if you do some yoga sadhana, yoga, pranayama, or any samadhi, will you understand that there is a rope? No. Without understanding the rope, whatever circus you do, whatever magics you do, that will not work out. The only way is you have to identify the reality. Likewise, here also, you have to identify the real fact. Existence is the dual nature, devoid of all existing dual nature. It will not be there. Hence, it is described as prapanchopashamam. Prapanchopashamam, shantam shivam advaitam. While explaining the seventh mantra, in the seventh mantra, apavada will be done. Till seventh mantra, adhyaropa will happen. What is those adhyaropas? Vaishvanaratva is the adhyaropa. That is waking state, witness of the waking state. Tejasattva is adhyaropa, witness of the dream state. And witness of the deep sleep state, pragnatva, that is also adhyaropa. Then in seventh mantra it says, na anta pragnam, na bahish pragnam, obhaita pragnam, na pragnam, na pragnam, na pragnam. Prapanchopashamam, shantam shivam advaitam, turiyam. That is the chatushpat, where it is devoid of all these things. That's why prapanchopasham, just think that state. Just contemplate this kind of statements. Our own nature is prapanchopashamam. Even that prapancha goes, nothing will happen to me. I will exist with the bliss, pure bliss, ananda swarupa, devoid of all the prapancha. Nothing was there, but still my existence will continue. Then why we unnecessarily wasting our time thinking that this world is there and through this world I will achieve that thing, these things and all. So that's why this is prapanchopashamam. It is stated in the Shruti Mantra 7 of Mandukya. But for the purpose of teaching, the witnesshood, sakshitva. Sakshitva is also adhyaropa, superimposition. Because when you speak from the standpoint of the Atman, there is no Sakshi at all. Because you will say that Sakshi when there is a Sakshya, witnessed. When there is a witnessed, it is correct to say that there is a witness. If there is no witness at all, where is the question of witness? That also will go. That's why this is for the purpose of teaching. The witnessed is attributed on the non-dual self from the standpoint of me notion, From that standpoint, it is attributed. Strictly speaking, there are no two entities such as Sakshi, the witness, and Aham Pratyaya. That is the Pramat, Pramat, Pramatru. Okay, through the adjuncts like Antakarana body, etc. Only this has been defined, which are conjured up by ignorance. Adhyasavasya again properly, correctly, without any doubts. You have to understand the concept of Adhyasavasya. That is a framework that will be useful in Bhasha also. That is been told earlier also when I explained Adhyasavasya. Conjured by the ignorance. The same witnessing principle appears as if he has taken the grab of pramatru or aham pratyaya. The same witnessing principle is due to once this avidya comes, the witness itself will grab this antakarana. Grab in the sense what? There is no action of grabbing. He will appear due to the avidya, this consciousness which is coming from pure consciousness, these sense organs are working because of the pure consciousness only. So without that pure consciousness, this kind of activities will not exist at all. We can't separately show them. It will not take a stand at all. Without telling, without having the waking state, you have to share. Forget about Atman, witness. You have to say there is no waking state, but there is eye, nose, ears. Is it possible? No. Without the waking state. Waking state is not there. I'm telling. Waking state is not there. Tell me, where is your eyes? Where is your nose? Where is your ears? That you can't say at all. That's why when it appears, this way witnessing will grab the aham pratyaya. Grab means what? It will pervade. It will be there. Entire appearance will be pervaded by him only. When these adjuncts are falsified, when it is not falsified, you will take a standpoint in that body, mind, or whatever results of avidya. But if you falsify those adjuncts through the statements of Shruti and the teachings of Acharya with a purified mind, that will become falsified through discrimination, viveka, gnana viveka, meaning the non-dual nature of the self alone remains. That alone will remains. That alone will remains. This appearance will, you will know that this is an appearance. What is the meaning of appearance? That is not there. That's all. We are given a different term. That's all. Appearance. Satya, Anrita. Means what? Anrita means what? That is not there. Mithya means what? That is not there. When Satya is identified, that there is no question of Mithya at all. This is Satya, Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya. You have to show two things. No, not all, nothing. When you identify Brahma, that it is Brahma itself is Satya, there is no question of Mithya Prapancha. You can't show that at this stage of self-realization of the Paramatma or Aham Pratyaya itself. Pramatru or Aham Pratyaya himself remains as the witness that will become one with the witness, that will dissolve in the witness. Aham Bhava, Aham Pratyaya will dissolve in the witness. This is said in the second shloka of traditional saying quoted by Shankara at the end of Sutra Bhasha 114. Brahmavid Gatha. where he says, before the realization of Atman to be sought out, the Atman is a Pramatru, knowing agent. Before realization, he'll be thought that he is a Pramatru. So when there is a Pramatru, that all Triputi, Pramatru, Pramana, Prameya, all this come into picture. When the search has been finished, that Shodhana, the search, that research, means what? Recognizing the self is finished. The Pramatru himself would become the one supreme witnessing self. Becomes means what? He will become one with that. There is no that I told you the example what Ramakrishna Paramahansa has given. The salt dal gone in deep sleep, deep sea, went to the deep sleep to see the depth of the sea, but it will dissolve there itself. Likewise, this Pramatru will dissolve in the witnessing self, free from all evils of gods, evils of good and bad, and the likes. There, everything is free from everything. If that is the case, why there is a worry in this world? When you say world, then only the worry will come. When you recognize that you are devoid of world, you are not at all related to the world, you are free from world, then there is no question of this good and bad things. So the witnesshood, Sakshitva, is attributed for the purpose of teaching only. That is important. Though it is told that Sakshi, cognizing the witnessing principle, is the second most important basic principle in Shankara Vedanta, that doesn't mean that there is a witness and the witnessed. It is an adhyaropa itself, teaching the non-dual self from the standpoint of the ego, just like the Ishvarahood is attributed on the same witness from the standpoint of the universe. You have to properly understand this concept. The term definition of the term Ishvara. This Ishvara has been told for the Brahman itself from the standpoint of the world. Likewise, the Sakshi is been defined from the standpoint of world. The world is a witness. This is a witness. Okay, that is a process of teaching, acceptance, even though it is not there. Acceptance for the purpose of teaching is an adhyaropa. Okay, so then topic in this cognizing witnessing principle is witness is self-established reality. It is a self-established reality. It is not a dependent reality. It is itself is there. That we will see in the next class. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsha Rishibhyo Namo Mahabhyo Namo Gurubhyah Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tatsat Shri Krishna Arpanastu.